Hi, it's time for good energy and welcome to Bodyful Day 163. Today we're talking about acid reflux in the senses. This is day 3. This is day 3 of acid reflux in the senses. And we are talking about the sense of taste. All right, so the irony is that I wasn't planning on doing taste today. I was planning on doing vestibular, which is one of those, again, that you have to try to figure out how to make connect with acid reflux. But yours truly decided to have a piece of cheese without my usual balancing herbs at lunch, and lo and behold, I have acid reflux right now. So I thought I'd jump to acid reflux and taste so that we can talk about this wonderful thing called the gut-brain axis. All right, so let's start with the basics. Take a deep breath in and release. All right, take a deep breath in, expand through the belly, expand through the chest, expand through your sinuses and tuck your tailbone. Deep breath in. And release. Think about any gunk. I am going to think about the acid reflux I've got going on right now, and I'm going to breathe into that. Deep breath in. And release. Now, the truth is, I get acid reflux about 2, maybe 3 times a month. And it just happens to be eating something and then sitting the wrong way, or eating something and just not being ready for it. When you go into a doctor's office and they talk about acid reflux, or if you look up acid reflux online, you will notice that there is a list of foods a mile long. Dairy is one of those, tomatoes, chocolate, coffee. The list is ginormous of possible things that could cause acid reflux. The reason why it's that big is that it really is different for different people. And truly, it is different for you on a given day. Some days you can eat cheese, or some days I can eat cheese and not have a problem. You'll notice that at the beginning of the video I said I didn't eat my cheese with my herbs. And usually if I have a chunk of cheese, I usually have a lot of dill with it, because dill helps the gallbladder, and cheese is a fat. And so therefore, when you eat cheese with dill, it helps the gallbladder process that fat a little bit better, and you're less likely to get things like acid reflux or gut issues later on in the day. That said, I didn't have dill with my cheese today. And as I was going to do shopping and stuff around 3 o'clock, I'm like, that just doesn't feel good there. So yes, I am currently experiencing acid reflux. So let's go back to this concept that I brought up earlier about the gut-brain axis. Not access, axis. Axis, the connection between the two, the brain and the gut. It's interesting because what goes into your mouth, what you taste, as soon as you taste it, your body prepares for the digestion. So let me say that again. As soon as you put a food in your mouth, fat, starch, meat, sugar, your body takes an analysis of it right from the tongue. What are those taste buds that are popping off and firing? That goes to the brain. The brain triggers, okay, this is a very high starchy meal. We need a lot of amylase from the mouth. We're going to have to figure out how to digest that a little differently in the pancreas and in the gut, or in the stomach and the pancreas. And then that sort of alters how the digestion happens later down the chain. But that instant of putting it in your mouth, the taste buds registering what the chemical signature is, and the brain saying, this is how we process that. It happens instantly. There was a study, I think it was back in 2011, that showed that cyclists could wash their mouth. So after biking for 2 hours, professional cyclists biking for 2 hours, really hard practice, split into 3 different groups. One group got to have a recovery drink and then sprint. Another group got to not have a recovery drink and then sprint. And then another group got to swish their mouth out, not swallow. Like, they put it in their mouth, they spit it, they wash their mouth out, they spit it out. They got none of it. They just got the signature of it on their tongue, and then they had to sprint. And what they found was that while, yes, people who had the recovery drink performed better than people who did not have the recovery drink, people who had the recovery drink performed just as well as people who just swished their mouth out. How wild is that? The brain said, oh yeah, I need that, and I'm going to do this sprint as if I had it. So that is the awesome thing about the brain. The brain makes an analysis before it gets anywhere else in your body about whether or not you need it. So let's back up and talk about acid reflux again. Energy to heal equals good energy and minus stressors, and those stressors can be food stressors. We can talk about acid reflux as being a stressor, but let's talk about food stressors. If there's a particular food that your body doesn't digest well, your body is going to send signals to the rest of the body and say, hey, we don't cope well with this. And because of that, it's going to change your combination of enzymes in your mouth. It's going to change the acidity of your stomach, because if your body already knows, for example, that I don't digest cheese as well as I should, then it's going to consider it a stressor, and it's already going to tamp down my ability to digest it. And so when it gets to my stomach and sits there for a while, it's going to go, ugh, this again? Why did she do this? Because cheese is yummy? I don't know. But that said, I have found out a way to short circuit that system. For me personally, I know that eating dill while I eat cheese means that I can digest the cheese really well and I don't end up with acid reflux. So that is my good energy in plus a stressor food, and I can still get the good things out of that food without being a totally stressor and causing acid reflux. It's just that today I didn't do it. Today I actually had tarragon. I walked out to the garden and picked some tarragon instead of picking dill. My fault. Thus I am experiencing acid reflux. But the idea still holds. The brain knows when I put the dill in with the cheese or around the cheese that, hey, that's good energy in, that's good for fat digestion. It may not notice that, but it alters my enzymes in my mouth, it alters the acid in my stomach, and helps me digest that better than it would if I had it, if I didn't take the dill with it. So, what is considered a wrong food, a wrong taste that is going to trigger that chain reaction that's going to cause acid reflux later is dependent on you and your body, and is also dependent upon what else goes into your body at the time that you're eating it. That avocado dill dip that you like so much, even though it has lots of cheese and dairy in it, it's probably the dill or whatever else is in there. That's the reason why you can eat that, but you can't eat cream cheese on a bagel without getting acid reflux. Likewise, eating pasta with a tomato sauce, which is again considered highly acidic, one of those no-go foods, you can't eat it when you just have pasta. But if you have it in a submarine sandwich with meatballs and gravy and all sorts, meatballs and sauce and lots of other vegetables and stuff in there, it totally goes down. You have no issues with tomatoes in that case. So again, your food is very dependent upon what else goes in there, and that happens instantly. The mouth analyzes the chemical compound in your food and decides whether it's a stressor or it's good energy in. And that happens instantly. So if it's a stressor, it reduces the enzymes in the mouth, it reduces the acid, it causes gut stuff later on because your body said, ooh, that's a stressor, we don't like it. But if you eat that same food with the right herbs and spices or other surrounding foods, the body goes, oh yeah, that's a little grumpy, but you've got some really good energy in there with those other things. So we're just going to process it like we normally would, and boom, you don't have acid reflux. So how do you take this and shift into helping you with acid reflux? You should notice acid reflux within a half hour of what you eat. And so what you just have to do is you have to monitor. Is it the pasta sauce? Is it the dairy? Is it the gluten? Is it the coffee? Is it the... And if it isn't always, just note what you ate about a half hour, 2 hours to between 30 minutes and 2 hours before you got the acid reflux. Note what you ate. And sometimes you can have that cup of coffee as long as you have long-term carbs with it. So maybe you have whole wheat bread and you're able to have your cup of coffee without acid reflux. Notice the pattern, because the pattern will tell you when you can and cannot eat an acid reflux triggering food. So like I said, I can eat cheese, I can eat a chunk of cheese as long as I have dill with it. But if I don't have dill, I'm gonna pay for it later. All right, I hope this is helpful. As I said, taste is the instant analyzer, and that can tell your body instantly whether or not you're going to have acid reflux. And if you add other foods with it, it will actually correct it instantly, and you'll be able to eat those foods. So let's finish this off. Take a deep breath in and release. All right. Come back tomorrow, where I'm going to come back and do vestibular, which I planned to do today, but because of the acid reflux, I decided to do taste. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.